I'm live. Hey, if you're wandering the internet and you ran across this video, you should go to jollyrogerukulele.com and figure out why this video exists. And you should also fast forward about 5 minutes, and that's about when the actual ukulele instruction will begin. So feel free to do that. Otherwise, you're going to sit here while I am stare at me while I post the link for the class so that we can get everybody loaded in here and rocking. I am a minute or two later than I wish I like to be. Than I wish I like to be. I'm a minute or two later than I had hoped to be, but that's how kind of it works. I've got a new sound program and a new video thingamajig, so hopefully everything's working. And the first person in the room is going to say, Gary, it sounds great. That's my goal today. Let's get the microphone up where it needs to be. We'll start logging in here. Those of you guys jumping in, let me know if the sound is good. Had quite a little morning of it with the sound, and I want to make sure that you can hear me and everything is lovely. Okay. And it looks like I got everything posted on the website correctly. Ye God. And Lanny's in. Sound is good. Now I can sit and relax. That's always my big every day since we started this months ago, right? A couple months back. Every day I'm in a panic about getting the sound correct. And I'm done. That's it. This is the set. I have the setup here. I'm getting one multi-USB thing, and that's it. That's all I'm changing. Everything else, nothing will ever change for the rest of my life. I will die with this sound setup. Let's see. Let's get me where I need to be. Get my little foot pedal thingamabopper going. And I get my music where I can actually see it. Hello, Linda. Welcome in. Let's see if my... Oh, okay. Hope everybody had a chance to look at the new piece of music. I finished it up in a big rush last night. Donna was over me working on ukulele stuff for the week. She says, that's enough. Get that thing posted and get it done. So I didn't really even have a chance to play it. So I'm hoping that it plays well. Let's see. Hey, Burke. Welcome in. Glad you're here. Okay, sounding okay. Showing a whole lot of ceiling and not enough of me. How's that going to look? How are we looking? Okay, there we go. Talk to you guys about these books today and figure out which ones we want to do next. Hey, Phyllis, welcome in. Laurel, hi, how are you? Terry in from Denver. Terry, I think I got an email from you, and I don't think I got it back to you yet. Was it you? Oh, no, it's Mike that I got the email from. All the Denver guys, I get confused as to who's what. Let's see. Linda number 3. Linda number 2 beat you. Is Linda Schmidt? Did we decide she's Linda number 2? All right, yeah. We're going to have a good day today. We got a lot of good music on tap. Tomorrow's going to be great. I'm so excited about tomorrow's concert. I really am. Pauline, welcome in. Lynn, welcome in. Fran. Leslie, Gary H., Gary and Diane from Vancouver, Washington. Jerry's in. Happy Thursday to you. Evelyn from pronounced Cuenca. Okay, that's what I was assuming, but you know, the Boston Celtics have ruined the letter C for me for my life because it's Celtic is the correct pronunciation of that, but you would say Boston Celtics, and so every time I see a C, I'm like, I don't know, is that a C sound or is that a sound or a sound? So I just I think we should just ban the use of the letter C. Cuenca, which means basin surrounded by mountains. There's a light dusting of volcanic ash. Oh, really? Is the volcano active? Oh my gosh. You're living on a volcano? That's kind of cool. That's kind of dangerous, probably. I was last time we were in Yellowstone. You read all these things. It says if this thing ever erupts, the entire planet will be wiped out. And you're standing on there reading the little placard, and you're thinking, well, is it going to do it right now? I hope it doesn't go right now. Volcanoes, you can't depend on them. Hey, Sandy, welcome in. Chris, are you changing your strings? I'll send email. Yes, Chris, I am doing emails. I am doing string changes. Two things. The building is still not open. They're talking end of June before they're going to open the building up. But you can definitely drop it off. I change your strings. If you have time to wait, I can do it right then. Otherwise, you can drop it off and then come pick it up in a day or two. So string changes are still going on down here. Yeah, just definitely toss me an email so we can set up a time. That's about all I'm doing right now. I know a couple of you guys have been asking about, hey, can I come down and look at your stuff? And I just don't have a way to do that right at the moment. I can definitely send you videos and photos, but it's not the same as sitting down and getting the thing in your hand and playing it. So just know that I can definitely do string changes right now. And in fact, Dan's coming in tomorrow, and I'm going to change his guitar strings. So we're doing that still. And that's about all I can do right at the moment. Hey, Renee, welcome in. Terry, how are you? Simon and Garfunkel week. Do I have that on my list? Did I ever put that on the list? Let me check. Did we do that? I've got a few Simon and Garfunkel tunes already done. Maybe let me add that to our list. I don't think I have that on our list anywhere. Oh, yeah, I do. I have it on the list. I do. I'll have to look in my hard drive and see what I've done. A few Simon Garfunkels over the years. I know I have Sound of Silence. I know I have Bridge Over Troubled Water. I know I have, what's the other one? Scarborough Fair. So I've got three. Maybe I ought to just do that. Then I won't have to do very much work. All right. Good plan, Terry. Good plan. Hey, Karen, welcome in. Elizabeth is back in business. She got attacked by a hacker, so don't let that happen to you. Patty did it. I'm going to start using English. That's my plan. Hey, Brandon, welcome in from beautiful downtown San Francisco. Carol, Colorado Mountains. Linda Harris. Linda number 1 is here. Vicky from Bozeman, Maryland. The Q is in the house. Alan, been paying too high of a water bill out there. Hey, Kay, welcome in. Good to see you. That's a surprise. Lovely. Well, we're going to get started. Just to let you know, I have not settled on the theme for next week. Sometime, here's what happens. I have so much stuff in my hard drive, I don't even remember what's in there. The problem is a lot of times the way I write music now has been updated, and so sometimes I got all these songs I did back in the day. I'm going to pull those up, and we'll just use those this week. And then I pull them up, and there is much work to get them prepared as it is to get a new song prepared. So I'm not positive whether I'm going to just pull up some stuff that I've done in the past, clean it up, and get it to you guys, or whether I'm going to go fresh. Now, Simon and Garfunkel is actually a very good idea. I also found this book as I was cleaning out songs of the 80s. That would be hilarious. I don't think I've ever done any of those. I got my John Denver book out, so we may do some John Denver. And then I found this, which I didn't even remember having, it's called Classic TV, and it has all these old school themes from some of those old-fashioned shows we used to watch. And sitting next to it was Cartoon Time. Well, I don't even know where those came from. So those are the books I'm going to poke through those this weekend. I've got plenty of Broadway tunes, and I got so much Tin Pan Alley. It's kind of silly how much I've done of that. So I will be thinking about the theme for next week and getting you something over the weekend. And I think that's it. I burned myself out really bad working on a guitar song for the guitar group, so they're going to be on hold, and you guys are first up this week. I'm going to not write any more guitar music for a whole week because I'm mad at it. I'm mad at Hotel. I'm mad at the Eagles. That's who I'm mad at. I'm mostly Glenn Frey, mostly him, or no, Don Felder. Who is the one who sings it? I'm the mad at that guy. Let's see. Jen is in. Lynn, there's a typo in the lyrics of Scarborough Fair. Oh, there is. Okay. Lynn, will you toss me an email as to what measure that is so I can fix it? I apologize. I'm my own editor. You have figured that out, right? I'm the writer and the editor, and that is never a good thing, especially in music where there's so many potential pratfalls. Yeah, typos get through all of the time. I try really, really hard not to have them, and I'm always more than happy to fix the typos. Sometimes you guys say this is in the wrong key, and then I don't necessarily run that quick to fix that. But I do want you guys to have good, clean sheet music with the right spelling of everything and all that on there. And so please let me know when you run into that stuff. You can just send me an email, and I will do what I can to get it cleaned up. So let's see. How about Kathy's song from? I don't know if I know that song, Linda. That's a great idea. Kathy's song. Do I know that song? Probably. My dad was a big Simon and Garfunkel guy. Mom was Elvis, and Dad was Simon and Garfunkel. It's weird. That's wrong, by the way. That's why they didn't stick together. Let's see. Barbara in, Lynn in. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got cats in the stack. I'm working on that from one of my private students. Cats. It'll turn into music for you guys, but right now it's for private student. Let's see. Oh, Don Henley. Okay, he's who I'm mad. I'm mad at Don Henley. Let's see. Dearly love John Denver week sometime. The queue is on for John Denver. Let's see. Memory is actually the song I'm working on, to be honest, Barbara. Let's see. I heard the drill. Neil Diamond is on the list. We'll get to them all, guys. We'll get to them all. Yeah, I know. Right? And then I keep throwing, songs from 1712 at you, and you're like, this isn't Simon and Garfunkel. We'll get to it all. James Taylor, not John Taylor. James Taylor. And my niece says that we've got to do, what's his name? Jack Johnson. I know nothing about Jack Johnson except that I went through the internet and stole a bunch of sheet music yesterday to see if I could figure out who Jack Johnson is. So, hey, Cindy. All right, let's get started. We're going to do Brahms Lullaby first, right? Am I on the right song? I hope I am. What are we doing? Why am I here? Let me pull up our front page. We are doing Brahms Lullaby and Are You Lonesome Tonight? Now, let's talk about Brahms Lullaby. Those of you guys who are newer and you're looking for your first song to memorize and have something that's really beautiful, this may or may not be the one. Very old-fashioned tune. The challenge with this one, everybody knows it, right? So if you play it, you need to play it well. You got to keep the pace moving right along. You want people to be able to put their baby to sleep to it. And so it's one of those songs where you do really want to get kind of good at it. And the nice part about it is, and we might actually end up using this as an example song this coming Monday night, of a song that's in 145. Here's Brahms. Brahms knows a little bit about music, and he can pick any kind of chord structures he wants, and he picks the C, the F, and the G7. That's our 145 program, and turns it into something really amazing, right? And so if Brahms is simplifying and doing this, you should know it's okay for you to do it too. 3 chords on this one. C chord. Right there, index, ring finger. Lighting is kind of weird today, huh? I don't know what to say about the C chord. Notice, those of you guys who are newer, I'm not messing around with thumb, right? Your thumb is not up here. Your thumb is hiding out back behind here, hangs out behind your middle finger, wherever your middle finger is. That's where your thumb is. I grab a C chord, and that's what it is. Notice the other thing you want to be aware of is your other fingers who aren't doing any work. Now, a lot of times I'll show you stuff like this, and I tuck my fingers under so you can see. But when I am playing, I want the rest of my fingers hanging out, just being all cool and relaxed and ready to do work when it's their turn. And what I want to avoid is having it. Some people will tuck it down here like this. The other one I see an awful lot, especially on G chord, is you'll get your G chord on, and then your pinky will be way out here, right, like this. A couple of years ago, I was watching a TV drama on. I don't even know what I was watching, and this little girl was on there, and she's going to sing a love song to her boyfriend. And they had taught her how to play ukulele 5 minutes before they filmed the scene, and she did a competent job of singing, and she managed to get her chord changes on at the correct moment. It was pretty challenging for her, but the one thing that she was doing that made it very clear that she was a new player. That G chord with her pinky just absolutely tortured over here. So when you are playing your chords, really any type of music, try to keep your other fingers poised and ready, but in a nice, soft, relaxed, non-tense way. The big thing we're trying to do is just make sure when you're playing that your body is overall relaxed. Your shoulders are relaxed, your back is relaxed, you got good posture. If we're tensing up when we're playing, we're going to end up injuring ourselves or just playing poorly. It actually ends up showing up here at the sound hole. When you've got tension in your arm or your back or your hands or whatever, the sound isn't good, it's good coming out of here. So just be mindful that when you're playing a C chord, other fingers are sort of hanging around, right? Getting ready to do the next job. Next chord in our song is a G7. To get from C to G7, lead with your index finger. It's going to go second string, first fret, and then your middle finger's coming up here to the third string, second fret, and then your ring finger is going to slide back one fret. There's your G7. Okay. Play that for a little while. Then we're going to go back to C, just very simple. Okay, there's that. To get from C to F, index finger goes the same spot, but your middle finger jumps up and your ring finger jumps off. And then we go back to C. Then we're going to go to G7. And then to C. Go to F. Go to C. Go to G7. And C. As we talked about yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, when you're strumming and you're singing, you go to your strum along workshop there in wherever you live, or you start one. One of the things that you're going to be thinking about is, I'm busy playing my chord and I don't want to fall asleep on that chord. I'm looking ahead to see when my next chord is coming up. And then in plenty of time before that happens, I want to abandon the previous chord in plenty of time to get to that next chord. And so what we want to do is be actively involved in the music that we're playing. So it's very easy to be, I'm playing a C chord, whoops, everybody else is on the G7 chord, and then we're late getting there. And so just be thoughtful about, don't let yourself be all proud of yourself for the chord you're on. Be actively engaged in thinking, when is the next chord coming up? And is that a chord that I'm going to be fine with waiting till the very last minute to get to? Or do I need to abandon my strumming early enough to get my chord on? A lot of times in my intro classes, when on the second day, the second meeting, we always do chord stuff, and you see this, and then I say, okay, G chord, and that's when they move, right? And so by the time they get the G chord on, we're already on to the next chord, F chord, A minor chord, whatever it is, and they never get a chance to play at all because they're so busy trying to get their current chord on. And so just be thoughtful, be actively engaged in the music so that you are knowing what your next chord's coming up, and that you're going to be there and ready for the first beat of that chord. All right, so let's play Brahms Lullaby. I don't. The words are hard for me, and let's see how we do. Let's go ahead and take the repeat on this, okay? And what I'd like to do, when we get to the bottom at measure 17, there's a repeat at the end of measure 17. That's that heavy black line with the two dots on it. That means you're going to go back, and you're going to go all the way back up to measure 2 on the top of the page, and you're going to come back through. The second time through, we're going to skip measure 17 because that's your first repeat, and we're going to play measure 18. That's your second repeat, okay? So don't play 17 the second time through. For those of you guys that are been around a while, okay, if we're doing chords, you're doing one of 3 things probably. You're either strumming, which is beautiful. That's what this rest of the ukulele world is working on. Sounds gorgeous. Might be using this index finger, down, 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 or you might be using a triple stroke. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's probably not appropriate for this type of song, but you might try it. That's your strumming. You might be turning it into a reggae song. Okay. Again, probably not appropriate for this song. Or that's one thing you're doing, some type of strum pattern, or you're doing a pluck pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? So you're just doing probably all 4 strings. You might try 3. See if it sounds better. Might. Hey, Christy, welcome in. And then for others of you, you're going to be thinking about doing some type of arpeggio pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So my message is always the same. Let's take one piece of paper and let's see how many ways we can play it. Right? Let's see what we can do with this song. We spend a lot of time playing songs that I don't know. Frankly, I don't even know why we're playing them half the time. So if we're going to work on them, let's put our heart and soul into it. Let's figure out how many different ways we can get the same song out. And so what I'd like to do, I like to go all the way to the bottom one way, and then when you get to the bottom, go back to the top. Switch your right hand pattern. Do what doesn't matter. Just try something else. Sometimes they sound great. Sometimes you come up with great ideas, and sometimes it sounds absolutely insane. And figure out, a different way to play it the second time through. Okay, so from the top, I'm going to count in 2. I'm going to sing la la, and then we're going to go. Okay, la la. That's the note we're looking for. 1, 2. Lullaby and good night, with roses be dyed, with lilies be spread, his baby's wee bed. Lay you down now and rest. May your slumbers be blessed. Lay you down now and rest. May your slumbers be blessed. Lullaby and good night, thy mother's delight, bright angels beside, my darling abide. I will watch as you sleep, may your dreams be so sweet. I will watch as you sleep, may your dreams be so sweet. Okay, so those of you guys that are newer, you're thinking, how did I do with C chord? How did I do with F chord? How did I do with G7 chord? Those are 3 chords that I am 99.9% sure are going to come up a whole lot in your ukulele career. And so getting super comfortable with those where they just happen automatically is one of those things you want to be working on, making sure that when you see G7, you don't even think about it. Your fingers are just automatically in that position. And so there's level 1, right? That's when you buy a ukulele. That's what you think you're going to be doing. Then you come and you're hanging around with Gary, and he says, "Let's not do that anymore." And that's not enough. Let's do more. And so we're going to talk about playing the melody now, and that's your ukulele melody line. You've got no notes that are going to come up on this string. Okay, so we're already thinking maybe if I'm a more next level type player, I'm thinking I'm going to play everything on the 3rd string with my thumb, everything on the 2nd string with my index finger, and everything on the 1st string with my middle finger. Between the string numbers and my finger numbers, I'm completely confused as to what I'm saying. Or more likely, I'm just going to use my thumb over here because that's going to sound pretty. And I just got to make sure to hold down the right fret on the right string and then pluck the right string. both of those approaches are approaches you want to be able to do. You do want to be able to play with your thumb, straight melody stuff. It just sounds good. It's very reliable, very solid. The problem with your thumb is he's kind of slow, right? So if you get into a song with a lot of technical issues, you're just not going to be able to go fast enough with your thumb. So that's why you do want to work on using 3 fingers to play melody. Okay. Sometimes 2, sometimes just either these 2, dun, 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 sometimes these 2, dun, 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 dun. But you do want to work on using multiple fingers to play straight melody because it'll make you faster. And it just gets your brain more comfortable with what's going on over here and maybe being more precision about that. If you're just playing with your thumb, again, absolutely fine. In this song, it's going to work out great because it's nice and slow and beautiful. Okay, so again, I like to play it all the way to the bottom and then go back and play it twice just to give you some practice. Remember, if it's a 1, that's your index finger. If it's a 2, that's your middle finger. And if it's a 3, hey, Carol, it's your ring finger. Okay, and there are no other notes in here. Zeros, of course, have no fingers, but you want to not be thinking up interesting fingerings most of the time. Again, that slows you down. You want to be able, when your mind is looking at the paper, you see a 3, your ring finger's already going to where it needs to get to. The more stuff we can make automatic just by doing it rote over and over and over and over, the more stuff we can get to that position, then the less time your brain is going to be calculating your next move and creating a bunch of cognitive dissonance. And I do think that that's the only way to do that is just to play a lot. Just play a lot. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've seen this type of pattern before. And it starts just coming out of your hands and your ukulele by magic. And that's a good place to get to. Okay, so let's go from the top. I'm going to count in 2, 1, 2. And I'm going to play it a little bit slower. So those of you guys that are playing along with me, which is 100% of you, right? Your goal is to figure out at the speed Gary's playing, how's my melody coming along? Am I able to keep up with him? If you are, then you've arrived. If you're struggling with keeping up with me at home, you want to slow that thing down. And there is no shame in slowing music down. In fact, if I could talk new players into slowing down more often, that's what I would really want. That I would feel like a good teacher finally, right? Slow down. All right, let's try it at my speed. I'm going to play kind of slow. 1, 2. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 3, 3, 2. Oh, oh, 3, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, 3, 2, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1. Oh, 2. Oh, to the top. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 3, 3, 2. Oh, 3, 2. Oh, 1, 2. 2. Oh, 1. 2, 1, 2. Oh, 3, 2, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1. Oh, 2. Oh, I want to play it again because I messed up from the top. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 3, 3, 2. Oh, oh, 3, 2. Oh, 1, 2. 2. Oh, 1. 2, 1, 2. Oh, 3, 2, 3. Oh, oh, 3. 1, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, second inning. 1, oh, 2. Oh. Let your ukulele ring out as long as the sound is making sound. Take advantage of that. Hopefully things are going well for you, right? So hopefully you're able to play that melody along with my speed. And if that's going well for you, then you start speeding it up, right? See how fast you can play Brahm. Find out those places where you start to crash. When you're playing a tune and you start off slow, I hope, you're playing it slow, finally get where you can play the whole song at a slow speed. Then you start speeding it up and you look for those places where you crash. And those crash spots are always going to be the hard spot. And when you find those hard spots, then you want to really stop and study those and figure out what am I going to have to do to get my finger to happen to get there correctly, okay, and to get there in a fast speed. On some of the more advanced pieces we play, guys, you're going to have to take your finger, you're going to have to memorize a measure, right? You're going to memorize, oh, here comes that measure so that you can take your eyeballs off the sheet music, watch your fingers, what they're doing, and then somehow find your way back up onto the paper. On those more complicated sections. Okay, tough uke. By the way, if you have a friend who has a ukulele, one person plays the chords, one person plays the melody, you have a great time. It's really something you should try. Okay, it's really, really fun, especially with little kids. You've got your grandkid over, or your goddaughter, or your niece, or whatever. Send them down, make them do the chords, and then you play the melody. Or better yet, you teach them how to play melody, and then they play the melody and you play the chords. Okay, the nice part, I like my more advanced player to play the chords because playing melody is actually, once you get it, it's, like you guys know, it's actually very fun, very beautiful. It's pretty reliable. And if you have the more advanced player playing chords, they're going to keep a decent rhythm. They're going to keep the timing correct. And that way it's very easy to be the melody player. And so that's a lot of times when people are studying ukulele and they start you on chords first, you're like, well, wait a minute, you're starting them on the harder thing. You start them on melody, get them where they can actually get the tune out of ukulele, then get their rhythm together with chords. All right, tough uke. That's where we put the two together, right? And so let's walk through it. I'll talk to you about everything on it, and then we'll play through it twice, okay? So first one, obviously, a couple of zeros. 003, nice strum down. Make sure positively that your thumb is just stopping and you're not going to play that first string. So it rests on that first string. A rest stroke is resting your finger on the string you're not going to play. That's how I think about it. I'm not playing that first string, so that's where I'm going to get where it rests like a hammock, okay? Then I got a couple zeros. 003 again. And I'm 03. Full C chord here. Go grab your 2, open. You got a partial G7. So you're thinking G7, that's what the chord is, G7, but the melody means that I have to lift this finger up. So I got 0, 2, 1, 0. And then my ring finger is going to grab that 3. I'm still holding my 2 down, so I don't have to do anything. 0, 2, and then I got to open up that second string and put my G7 partially back down. Probably should put it all the way down. Hit the 2 2s and open, and then another partial G7, 2 1, a full G7 at measure 8, open, ring finger on 3, and then you got a mess here, right? Because you need to hit a 2 on the first string, but your ring finger is now busy holding that down. Here's how to make yourself sound more professional. You can do 3 and then pick your ring finger up and put it back where it goes and play the 2, but you've had to stop this finger, okay? So what I will probably do, I hit that 3, my middle finger is going to jump down and grab that 2. That way this finger doesn't have to move. That note can continue ringing, and then this one can have a job. It just makes your notes more connected that way. And so be mindful of these things where, yeah, the rule says I should put my ring finger back here, but it's going to mess up the continuity of the sound. So I'll probably just drop my middle finger down there, and then that way I don't have to lift this up, and those notes kind of mush together, and it sounds better. Okay, then we got a C chord at measure 9. Get the zeros. Guys, you've been around a while, probably. You know it's 2013. The day you met it, you're like, what the heck is that? And if it's happened to you 80,000 times since then, no longer an issue. But if you're newer, F chord, the rule says we're supposed to use our ring finger here. You can if your fingers are cooperative with that, but I always use a pinky on this one. 2, 0, 1, and 3. I tried to use my ring finger because that's the rule, and it's not a rule; it's a suggestion. But I would miss it all the time. All the time, my ring finger would come down on top of the wire there. So I just switched to pinky, and it works better. Okay, 2, 0, 1, 3. Strum it. 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, 0, 3. A couple of more zeros. G7 shape here. Add your ring finger, hit that open, and then 0, 0, 3. My ring finger never moves, right? So that, again, I can keep the continuity of that tone going. Hit the 0, 0. F chord with your pinky. 0, 1. 0, 0, 3 with your ring. O, O. G7 shape here. Lose your index finger. Hit the 2. And hit the 2 zeros. And then we're going to go back up to the top. Okay. When we come around for the final version, I got a glissando on there. When you see glissandos, you have to do the glissando. Okay? That's what you have to do for measure 18, right? C chord. If there are no glissandos, you get to make the decision. If you don't see a glissando, it doesn't mean you're required to play it this way. You get to make the call as the artist. You're playing Brahms' Lullaby. Are you going to play it as, or are you going to play it as, right? Just that's what you want, right? You're thinking about what the song is trying to do. This song's trying to put a baby to sleep, right? So you want it soft and beautiful. We're probably not thinking about playing it this way. We're probably thinking about playing it this way. Diane just got in from golf. I want to fight Diane. I love playing golf. I am not very good at it, but I love it. I used to be okay at it, and then I didn't do it for 10 years, and so now I go out there. I still like it, but it's kind of brutal what happens. All right, let's play Brahms' Lullaby. This is it. This is your big moment. Top to bottom, go back, play it top to bottom. Okay, from the top. I'm going to count in 2, maybe a tiny bit faster than we played the melody. Okay, let's see what happens. 1, 2. Don't let up on your chord until your ukulele stops talking. Okay? Then you can let it off. That's a good song. Okay? I like that song. Brahms knew a tiny bit about writing music, and then it worked out perfectly on ukulele. So probably if you were fighting anything, you're that F chord with the pinky, right? That's going to come up, guys. That's going to come up a lot in your life. And over the next couple weeks, we'll be talking about in Summer Institute about why an F chord is an F chord. You know, if you're holding your chord like this, that's an F chord. If you add this, it's still an F chord. Okay, it's just a different shape on the F chord, and certainly when we first start in ukulele, we'd like to have one set of chords and that be it. Like we don't really want to hear, oh, there's 17 different C chords on here. You know, we don't want to know that. This C chord seems pretty good, and we're going to hang on to that one. But just be open to that idea that there's going to be a whole lot of modifications to chords, and we're going to end up with you're going to end up with sort of these recurring positions and recurring shapes. And if you just sort of like, okay, that's how we're going to do this one at this point, I think eventually it just becomes this thing that keeps happening over and over. And then your brain has to be like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. And your brain spends less time working on that and more time working on, how do I make my tones beautiful? What do I got to do to keep this thing ringing out? How am I going to match my idea of the song with my execution of the song? And so that's the sort of higher level stuff that you will get to. Some of you are there, some of you are working your way up there. And so that we can get where you're playing Brahms Lullaby and it's like, oh my God, that's absolutely beautiful. Okay. My biggest challenge seems to be when I have to drop down to the C string in the melody. Yeah. You know, and a lot of ukuleles don't necessarily help you out. Like the C string has a tendency to be like clunk, right? It has a tendency to not necessarily sound so good. I think, you know, continue to work on it. It is, I definitely know what you're talking about, Laurel. When you're going down to the lower notes on the ukulele, you know, all of a sudden you're getting into your thumb. You're having maybe not quite as much. If it's on the first string, we play that a lot. We get pretty comfy with that. But as we drop down into those lower strings, can sometimes be a little bit of lower pitched strings. It's not uncommon for you to have a little bit of a fight with that. And so, yeah, no, definitely know what you're talking about. One, keep practicing; it gets better. And two, the quality of your ukulele can play a role in that. The quality of your ukulele plays a role when you got to play way up here on the neck or way down here, right? On like these real low notes. Okay, if you're it's not that $100 ukulele is a bad ukulele. They're actually wonderful. I'm amazed at how much music you can get out of a $100 ukulele. But when you're hanging out and doing some of this higher level work, you're starting to put pressure onto your ukulele. You know, a $300 ukulele would probably do you better, right? A $900 ukulele would do even better. But also be aware there's a point of diminishing returns. I don't really believe that the sound quality between $300 and $1,000 is significant. But there is a difference between a $100 ukulele and a $350 ukulele. So just know that. I tell everybody I used to say put a nickel in the jar, because every time you practice, put a nickel in the jar, but it doesn't work. You got to put a $5 bill every time into the jar when you practice, and that will tell you when you deserve your next ukulele. So if you're putting a $5 bill in every time you practice, pay yourself, hey, I'm going to get $5 if I go practice for 30 minutes. Do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And pretty soon you got a decent amount of money in there. And then you call me up and say, hey, girl, I'm ready to get a ukulele. What should I buy? Right? Or don't call me, call whoever, I don't care. But you should probably call me because I know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see. Who else mentioned something? Q said, did the ukulele exist in Brahms' day? When and how did uke begin? Oh, great question. So uke did not begin and was not around for Brahms. I don't know, what year did he write this? I forgot already. Let me pull it back up. I already got it, made it go away. Brahms Lullaby, 1868. Ukulele came around about 1880 or so. It was Portuguese sailors that went to Hawaii. They weren't sailors, they were cabinet makers. They went to Hawaii to do work because Hawaii was becoming a thing. And they took a ukulele-sized instrument called a machete, which had heavier metal strings. And in Hawaii, some of them were goofing around. You know, you got nothing better to do. So they started putting plastic strings on them, and they took this low string off and put a high string on there. There's no written history of how that exactly happened, but that's what happened. They were just sitting around. They probably couldn't get a hold of decent strings for the machete, so they used fishing wire, probably some nylon fishing wire if nylon existed then, or probably even catgut at that point, and just strung it up as best they could. And then they started making them real lightweight with very little bracing in here to get them to ring out better. And they were cabinet makers who did it. And that was about 1880, 1890. And then, of course, Kamako, the company Kamako was founded by a guy back in those days, and it's still around today, which is kind of exciting. Um, all right, so that's sort of the very fast approach to that. One of the nice things about this instrument is you can take all brands of music and stuff onto it. The only thing I haven't been able to be very successful with is hip hop on here, but all the other types of music fits on here very nicely because we're looking for great melodies, right? If you can find a great melody, it's going to work on this, and it doesn't matter what year the song was written. Let's see. Need that tenor? Yeah, we need a tenor uke, right? Let's see. Renee says, I'm experimenting with putting an eighth note on the C string after each half note, and I think it sounds good. So Renee has figured it out, right? If you take a slower song and you start adding in an extra little note between every quarter note, just add an extra little doodly do. All of a sudden, you sound like you are a professional, high-level player because you are, and that's one of those things. We're going to talk a lot about that on Summer Institute this week. In fact, we'll talk about it tomorrow as well when we're playing Can't Help Falling in Love with You, of putting in dun 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 between all those half notes, just adding in a few extra notes in there while we're holding the chord. Your ukulele will obey, and it'll be like, oh, okay, we're going to do this now, and it's going to just make your whole level of playing go up to that next level. So a lot of you guys are working your way up the food chain, right? You start off with chords, and you have to sing, and it seems like the right thing. It's not, but it seems like the right thing. Then you come hang out with me, and I teach you how to play melody. Then we take the melody and the chords, and we smash them together. Play tough uke. Then you take tough uke and you start adding in extra arpeggio notes in there, and then you're playing fingerstyle. And once you're playing fingerstyle, you become a problem because you're like, well, now what? And then I say, well, you need to start doing your own arrangements, and you need to start writing your own music. And you're like, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to sing and strum. Okay, so working our way up the ladder. Okay, your goal is to become Ludwig van Beethoven. He wrote 34 piano sonatas and 9 symphonies, and he's the best guy, right? So we got to and he's a couple of hundred years back. So what we need to do is get you to knock him off the pedestal. You need to only write 34 piano sonatas and 9 symphonies and a couple hundred other pieces of music, and you will be there, right? So that's what we're after. We'll find the next Beethoven, okay? And I want it to be on this instrument. All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, Joyce is busy improvising. Joyce knows a little bit about music, so she's probably in there turning Brahms' Lullaby into a very jazzy, unrelaxing, not meant for children type of piece of music. All right. How would you define fingerstyle? Fingerstyle is tough uke with arpeggios added in. It's what it is. Fingerstyle has no definition. It's the dumbest word that, I mean, honestly, the guitarist could have come up with any other way of saying. In guitar, when you talk about fingerstyle, you're talking about plucking rather than strumming. That's how much thought they put into it. But how it's typically done, and when you go onto YouTube and you type ukulele fingerstyle or guitar fingerstyle, what you're going to see is a whole lot of claw picking. You're going to hear popular tunes. They're going to play a chord, and the melody. Both are going to come out, and then whenever the chord or the melody gets kind of thin, then they're adding in arpeggio notes between those, and that's how that all comes together. Checking in from Colbanks. Nice. You know what? Christine is up camping, and she's found some signal, and here she is. Glad you made it, Christine. All right, let's get on to Are You Lonesome tonight? As I said, I did not have enough time to really play through this, so I'm hoping it's going to go great today. Let's talk about the chords. First chord, C chord. Are you lonesome too? And then you're going to have to go to your E minor. Okay, and it sounds beautiful. Okay, here's a little hint. If this is your first chord and your next chord is this one, you might want to make that your first chord. Use your index finger there. Some tonight. A little easier to get to, right? A minor, middle finger. Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry you drifted apart? Okay, love that chord progression. That C7 isn't supposed to be there, but man, it creates a ton of tension to get into the F chord. Beautiful idea. Okay, and then does your memory G7? Okay, index, middle, ring. Memory stray from a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. And then And then when we get to this bridge part of measure, in the middle of measure 16, we're going with, this is the main chord, and then we drop it into C7, which is a weird transition, and so you know you're going into a different feeling in this part of the song. Do the chairs in your parlor seem, go to F, empty and, what's the next word? Bare. Do you, now we're in a completely different key almost, it feels like it anyway, because we're going to go to a D chord. Gaze at your doorstep and D minor, doesn't make any sense, but that's what it is. Picture me, and then to the G chord to wrap this up, this idea. There is your C chord, heart filled with pain. Shall I come back again? And when I have to sing this, guys, you know it's going to be a disaster. And then D minor. Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? And then we've got some transition notes here. Remember from jazz class, those of you who are around for that, when you're in jazz, we always have these big fancy turnarounds to get them back up to the beginning of the song. Not always, but a lot of times, because jazz players, they get to that point where they're like, oh, we're going to go back and play the song again for the 27th time. Let's make the turnaround kind of fun. And so what they're doing here is, are you lonesome tonight? Then go to your F chord. For some of you, F minor is a new idea. Just index finger to the top, middle finger there. Okay, so it's a D7, push back in 1, and then either your pinky or your ring. I use my pinky. Okay. That's a cool sound, and then into the G7 from there. You can feel how that just jum, and is going to kick you back up to the top of the song. So we'll go back and play it a second time. The notation here is a little wonky, guys, because I wanted to keep it to 2 pages, and it works, but you got to know, we got to talk about it first. So you get to measure 34, you're going to go back to the top of the song, play the whole thing all the way through the second time. The second time you come through, skip measure 34. Okay, skip 34 and play 35. And then at the end of 35 is and you're going to kick you back up to measure 25. So don't go all the way back to the beginning then time, because I think, and I didn't actually sit down and listen to Elvis sing this, but I'm pretty sure he did anyway. He plays it through twice, and then the last time he goes back and plays just the main idea of the song, the sort of the chorus-ish ending. Is your heart filled with pain? So you're going to go 25. You jump up, play. Will you miss me again? Are you blah blah? Tell me, are you lonesome too? And then when you get to the end of 30, you jump down to 36. Sorry, I should say 36, to number 36 on the last pass. I'm eventually going to get these right. So your note there should say to number 36 on the last pass. Okay, so then you're going to jump down. Are you lonesome tonight? It has a nice ending to it. Okay, so one typo there already. Okay, and that's why we want to talk about repeats, because sometimes the programming doesn't magically update that stuff, and typically you don't put it on anyway. You're supposed to just know what you're supposed to do. I got the repeats right on the top of page 1. Okay, let's give it a try. I'm going to try singing it. You know, it's not going to go well, but whatever. From the top, strum. Okay. Maybe this, and this for sure is going to work on this one. But you're in 3, so you're probably thinking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Just find a way that it works for you. I'm going to try to keep the beat steady because you know when I'm singing, it's going to be bad enough. Okay, 1, 2. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? 2, 3, 1, 2. Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart. 2, 3, 1, 2. Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? 2, 3, F, 2, 3, F minor, 2, 3, G7, 2. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? 2, 3, 1, 2. Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I blessed you and called you sweetheart? 2, 3, 1, 2. Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? 2, 3, F, 2, 3, F minor, measure 35. Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome to the end tonight? 2, 3, F, 2, 3, F minor, 2, 3, C. Okay, so that's how your repeats go. Apologize for the singing; it's always brutal. And but you got, for those of you who do like singing, or for those of you who are running a ukulele group or whatever, you need to take this, flop it down, and honestly, it's dead on exactly what you can do. And if you got somebody who can sing those little bit higher notes, women usually can get to that D note pretty effectively. I have no hope yet. It's kind of a fun one to sing. And it turns out I was playing a little too slow to begin with, and so I was having a hard time counting my beats and singing. So if you could play it a tiny bit faster, it'd probably go better. All right, let's play the melody. I think that it doesn't, if I remember right, what's 5 is the highest note we go to. Yeah, so you got a 5 in here on the second page, and then occasionally a 4 is going to sneak in there, right? So you're probably going to use your pinky on both of the 4s and the 5s, probably. And then clear up at 27, you do go to 7. Okay, so when I go to 7, I usually am trying to get my middle finger onto 5, okay, which luckily is going to leave this open for the 4 that shows up there too. So just be mindful when you're playing melody. You may end up here in 4th position in order to get that 7. Okay, let's try it from the top. We won't play the whole thing all those times. Okay, let's just do one time through and see how it goes. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. Sorry. And there's a long note. That's where your chord player comes in, your rhythm ukulele player, and that's where they get to take over the show and play the whole thing. I like to play it just one more time through, just so I can clean up some of my mess. Okay, from the top. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. So the melody works. The melody sounds nice. If I play it correctly, it would actually sound really beautiful. Okay, so that's something for you if you want to set up a duet, right? You play melody, somebody plays chords, or even if you're just learning melody and you go grab the MP3 and play along to that, that's a pretty valuable resource and a pretty extremely valuable tool is to get where you can play along to the MP3. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, pattern from C string seems to work for me. Oh, okay. So thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index. Okay, so there's a 6-beat pattern that she's come up with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then start over again. Okay. And then you're not, of course, you're not pausing between those. Just get it going. That's a fun pattern, Renee. Good idea. All right. Last bit. What time is it? Just in time to finish up. We're going to play the tough uke. We're going to play it as written. We're going to play it all the way down to measure 34. Then we're going to bounce back up to number 1. Then we're going to play all the way down through 35, skip 34. Then we're going to go back up to 25. And we're going to play it down. And then we're going to jump from 30 to 36 and wrap it up. Okay. Tough ukers. Every single thing on here you've seen before. Every single thing. Okay, so in terms of a tough uke song, if you're looking for something that's going to make your ukulele sound amazing and not nearly as hard as some of the other stuff we're doing, this might be your song. Okay, from the top. 1, 2. is the hard moment here. I played right through the first inning, didn't I? Oh, no, wait, I didn't. Never mind. Sorry. And then let's go to major 35. Sorry, I thought I played through the ending. 35, ready, play. And then to 25. And now you want to jump down to the ending. Go. Messed up the repeat a tiny bit, but you got the big idea, right? And so hopefully you're playing that pretty smoothly as well, whatever manner you're choosing to play it with, right? So very quickly, we have a concert tomorrow. You guys have, I think, 8 really solid songs tomorrow. You have My Spaghetti Monster, Love Me Tender, Three Blind Mice, Blue Hawaii. We're going to do Waltzing Matilda. Double check that you got your C, A minor, F, and G chords in good shape. Can't Help Falling in Love, Brahm's Lullaby, Are You Lonesome Tonight? Those are all magnificent tunes. And so spend a little bit of time tonight just reviewing those, getting your paperwork together, getting the whole thing set up, ready to knock out one of the great concerts of all time. Okay, you're the star. You'll be the number 1 player at your house. Turns out you'll also be the worst player at your house. So on average, you'll be awesome. On average, you'll get a good solid C no matter what happens at your house. And so hopefully you'll exceed your expectations. Get everything ready tonight. I will talk to you guys mañana. And thanks for being here. Thanks for doing everything you guys are doing. It's very exciting to see so many people showing up consistently in the middle of the day. Some of you, it's nighttime. Some of you, it's whatever time. But trying to get better. Tell your friends what you're doing so that they can come and join us as well. And then tomorrow we'll have a wonderful concert. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay, Christy, have a wonderful day. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Those 5th fret D's are going to take some. Oh yeah, those D's are going to be. They'll be. It's a little squishy to get it in there, but you'll get it. I have faith in you, Kat. Chris, have a wonderful day. Renee. Yep, good. Glad you're having fun. See you soon, Jerry. Thanks. Prairie Farm. Did you tell me your real name? Prairie Farm. I'll just call you Prairie. That'll be faster and easier. Linda, have a wonderful day. Are you lonesome? Is it really pretty? It's a nice arrangement, don't you think? That D chord right there at the very end is a little bit of a bummer, but you can get it. You can do it. It's just a B flat on the 5th fret. That's what you're doing there. Carol, have a wonderful day. Phyllis, good job. Great week for you, right? Sandy, peace. Jana, have a wonderful day. Leslie, And yeah, go practice. Nice. Vicky, I'll see you soon. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. Lanny, good. Blue Hawaii, Lanny. Tomorrow's your day, man. Lynn, I'll see you soon. Pauline, another great day. Good for you. Fran, have a wonderful day. Brandon, see you tomorrow. Good stuff to practice. Melissa, Prairie, how am I going to remember? Melissa, how am I going to remember that? It's not even close to the same thing. Prairie Farm equals Melissa. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. Have a wonderful day. Joyce, fun to get your Elvis on. Elvis is all right, not brutally hard, and yet I don't know. He just, I mean, if you read the words of this song, it is so dumb. But the melody and just the feeling of, oh, I'll come back if you're sad. Yeah, and that's totally happens, right? So have a great night, Joyce. Thanks for being here. I will see all of you guys tomorrow, hopefully, and we're gonna be amazing. So have a great night.